Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Headbangers Closet. Your pal Brett here, and I appreciate every one of you guys checking out the channel. For this video, I'm going to do one I haven't really done in a while. It's going to be like a story time, and this is basically where I just kind of tell a story about an album, something that reminds me of the album or experience I had while, maybe going on tour for that record. So this one's going to be Metallica's Load. It just had its 28th birthday. Came out June 6, 1996. And it makes me feel old because I was going into my sophomore year of college when this thing came out. But yeah, this is the Walmart version. This is the one they put out a couple years ago. They reissued. It's like on orange, black marble. It's called Poor Twisted Orange, which I think is kind of cool. Excuse me. This is my OG 96 release on Elektra Records that I just kind of keep on my shelf, but I'm kind of glad to have it in the collection because I am a Metallica collector and a metal record collector. But I dig this record. I feel, a lot of people might have got off the ride from Metallica on the Black Album, and some of those people who decided to stick around, a lot of those guys got off the ride with this record, and I can't blame them. I'm not going to fault them for that opinion. Look at the picture of the guys in the band, especially Lars looking like he's, one of the bass player, drummer in the band Oasis, I get it. This was not the biggest thrash band in the world. This was not our favorite thrash band. This is some pop rock band like U2 or something like that, looking like these guys, smoking cigars, just not looking metal at all, and I get it. I'm not going to fault anybody for that opinion, but I didn't really care too much about the image. I just wanted the music to sound good. And, this is before the internet, so you heard the singles when they came out on the radio. If the radio station wanted to play a few songs prior to the album release, that's what you heard. So I dug the music. The first single was Until It Sleeps. I bought the cassette single, and on the B-side had the Motorhead cover Overkill. I thought both were really cool. I kind of thought Overkill was going to be on the record because I know Metallica loves to do covers. So the album came out on a Tuesday. I had just finished my freshman year of college when the album was coming out. I was working, and the Saturday before the album release, my brother and I had to fix the garage in our yard. And they played, was WAAF 107.3 in Boston was like, we're going to play during like the 10 a.m. to 5 shift on Saturday afternoon. They're going to play like a song off the record like every couple hours. So we heard Ain't My Bitch, we heard 2x4, and King Nothing while we were fixing the garage. Now, we really couldn't hear them that well. We were fixing the garage, a lot of power tools going, and it was on a radio, like a boombox that was like on the grass, like 15 feet, behind us. We didn't really hear it that well, but you know what I heard? I liked. And the last song they did was Bleeding Me. Now, I was in the car driving to a friend's house when they played that, so I was really able to crank the radio up and kind of dive in listening to it. I really liked that song, so I knew I really liked two songs off the album already. So I thought the music was good. Yeah, they didn't sound like the Metallica I grew up with, but I still thought that it was good. So fast forward to the Tuesday, the day the album was coming out, and I called some buddies and I said, look, Strawberries Music in Attleboro, Mass. is doing a midnight release of the album. Do you guys want to go? We'll grab something to eat. We'll hang out in the parking lot and wait and go in and grab the album. And they were like, yeah, sure. So I went to work that day, and then about 9:30, everybody kind of met up at my house. We all piled into my buddy's car. We drove down the 10 minutes to Strawberries and was able to pick this up when we went in. This was off the windows, and at the checkout counter, there's hundreds of these pamphlets. And it basically just says available June 4th on all Strawberries music and videos. And this was at the Bristol Place Shopping Center, Newport Avenue, Attleboro, Massachusetts is the stamp right there. So that's where we went. And we got there like around just before 10. And it was great. It was like a concert atmosphere, a concert parking lot atmosphere. Tons of cars. There's probably about a good 50, 60 cars full of people waiting to get the album. Everybody had their windows down, doors open, trunks open, blasting Metallica, the different Metallica records coming from different cars. People were like hanging out, handing beers out, those coolers, beers everywhere. Folks were grilling out. I remember one guy I knew from college. He was a dude I had known for a while. Wasn't really friends with him, but we went to his car, and he gave me a couple of hot dogs and some beers. We just kind of going car to car, drinking beer, hanging out, chatting with everybody, and then everybody, went in when they opened the doors, and I was able to get this pamphlet and then a flat for the album. And we listened to it 2 or 3 times, driving home, driving around town, listened to the album, and I liked it. I thought it was a great record. I still like the album. Oddly enough, Load and Reload are supposed to be double albums. I don't really like Load, but don't like Reload, but I think Load's a great record. I mean, Outlaw Torn's awesome. The Thorn Within has a great guitar riff. I like Hero of the Day. Bleeding Me's awesome. Ain't My Bitch is great. 2x4, House at Jack Bill. I mean, the whole album I think is really, really great. I love it when they bust out one of these songs live when I go see them. I think it's a great record. And, the guys I was with, I don't really talk to them anymore. I'm only friends with them on Facebook, which I don't ever get on. I don't think any of us really get on that thing anymore. None of us live in Massachusetts. We rarely talk, but whenever I hear a song off Load, I can't help but thinking back to that day of all of us kind of hanging out, almost like we were at a concert before the show, just talking to other metalheads and Metallica fans and just having a great time before we went and picked up the album. And picking up Load at midnight was the only time in my life I've ever done a in-person midnight picking up a record. So, really good time. Glad I did it. I listened to the album all that summer. I went to college that fall to URI, and if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the fall they announced the tour. And I bought a bunch of tickets, and I made the decision that, maybe finishing college in like 6 or 7 years ain't a bad thing if I can take a few weeks of time off to go follow Metallica up and down the East Coast on the Load tour. I think I went to 18 shows on that tour. And then a couple of years later, the Reload tour that summer, I basically did the same thing, but it was a summer, so I didn't have to miss any school. But yeah, great times in my life. Load will always have a special place to me because of those times. Just going with buddies to different shows up and down the East Coast, hanging out with my friends, picking the album up on the midnight release. So, great record. Had a blast picking it up and listening to it. Still love it to this day. So, what do you guys think of the album Load? Let me know in the comments below. Were you one of the people that got off the ride with it? Let me know. I would appreciate everybody checking out the channel. I'll have another video for you guys very soon. Cheers, everybody.